Trump threatens Iran with something very tough. Sri Lanka court sentences 12 men to death over killing of lawmaker in 2022 protests. Many killed in South Yemen as crowd linked with STC storms Govt building. Russia pounds Ukraine with drones, missiles. Tensions between the United States and Iran have escalated following President Donald Trump's recent statements, suggesting potential military action if Iran does not meet U.S. demands concerning its nuclear and missile programs. In an interview with Israel's Channel 12, Trump remarked, "Either we reach a deal, or we'll have to do something very tough," indicating a possible return to aggressive measures if negotiations fail. The U.S. has increased its military presence in the region, deploying the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, and considering the addition of a second carrier strike group. This buildup is perceived as a strategy to pressure Tehran into compliance. Iran, however, maintains that its missile capabilities are non-negotiable, and that discussions should focus solely on its nuclear program. Ali Larishani, Iran's security chief, emphasized that the missile program is a domestic matter linked to national security, and should not be part of the negotiations. Indirect talks between the U.S. and Iran have recently resumed in Oman, with both sides expressing a willingness to continue discussions. However, the inclusion of Iran's missile program and regional activities in the negotiations remains a contentious issue, with Iran insisting on limiting talks to nuclear matters. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has met with President Trump to discuss the situation, advocating for a comprehensive deal that addresses both Iran's nuclear and missile programs. While Trump has expressed a desire for a good deal, he has also indicated readiness to take decisive action if necessary. Sri Lankan court sentences 12 men to death over the 2022 killing of a ruling party lawmaker and his police bodyguard during nationwide unrest tied to the country's economic crisis. The Gampaha High Court found the men guilty of unlawful assembly, assault, and murder. The victims, lawmaker Amarakirti Athukorali and his security officer, were attacked after their vehicle was stopped by a crowd near Nitambua, just north of Colombo. Authorities said gunshots were fired from the victims' side before protesters chased them into a building, where their bodies were later discovered. 4 additional suspects received suspended 6-month prison terms, while 23 others were acquitted. The violence occurred in May 2022, when clashes spread across Sri Lanka after pro-government supporters attacked peaceful demonstrators demanding leadership resignations amid a severe economic collapse. The crisis triggered massive shortages, forced President Gotabaya Rajapaksa from power, and led the country to declare bankruptcy, with more than $83 billion in debt. Ranil Wickremesinghe later assumed the presidency and oversaw economic stabilization, though austerity policies sparked public anger. In 2024, Anura Kumara Dissanayake was elected on an anti-corruption platform. Violence has erupted in southeastern Yemen after a crowd linked to the separatist Southern Transitional Council attempted to storm a government building in the city of Ataq. Authorities say armed fighters opened fire on security forces, prompting an intervention that left at least 5 people dead and 39 others injured. The group had organized a march before trying to seize the building and remove the national flag. The incident marks the latest unrest in the war-torn country and comes just days after the Saudi-backed Presidential Leadership Council announced a new cabinet aimed at stabilizing the divided nation. Last month, the council tightened its control over southern Yemen after a failed STC bid to capture 2 provinces, which also led to the withdrawal of UAE forces that had supported the separatists. Officials warn that legal action will be taken against anyone involved in the attack and are urging the public to avoid further escalation. Russia has launched a massive overnight assault on Ukraine, firing drones and ballistic missiles that severely damaged energy infrastructure and left tens of thousands without heat, electricity, and water. In Kyiv alone, about 500 apartment buildings lost heating after the strikes disrupted power supplies. More than 100,000 families were left without electricity, and at least 2 people were injured when a residential building was hit. The southern port city of Odessa saw nearly 300,000 residents cut off from water, while close to 200 buildings were left without heating. In Dnipro, a combined missile and drone attack wounded 4 people, including a baby and a young child. Meanwhile, 2 people were killed and 6 injured in a strike on the railway hub of Lazova. Ukraine's Air Force reported that Russia launched 24 ballistic missiles, 1 cruise missile, and over 200 drones, with most intercepted by air defenses. Ukrainian officials say the attacks undermine ongoing peace efforts and are urging stronger pressure on Moscow to pursue diplomacy, as Russia continues its winter campaign targeting the country's power grid.